And she said that I should know about it. And now I'm like, should I feel guilty because I don't know? Or there is alternative. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy that you are with me and listening to this video. Have a lovely, beautiful day. In this video, I'm going to be exploring the alternative ways of viewing this reality. Guys, I want to inspire you to be even more open-minded, to challenge yourself. Why? Because that's the way to see the invisible. The recipe for alternative reality that could potentially lead to your own freedom. Carolina, can you cut this freaking bullshit and just say, what do you mean? Someone called me Lina the other day and I quite like it. The topic of this video will be basically nothing really matters at the end of the day. Can this be a topic of a video? Maybe. Take it as it resonates with you. Yeah. So, nothing really matters at the end of the day. Of course, this topic can be somehow controversial, but that's not my intention at all. My intention is to inspire you, guys, to view this reality in a different way. You see, we all have been trained to have a certain perception about various of things and how to function in this society, because then it is easier to control us. If majority of people think in similar way, therefore the system works, right? Can you see my point? Let me give you a few examples what I mean by nothing really matters. For example, if I go to a shop and someone is trying to argue with me, what do? I have a few options. I can react positively, I can react negatively, I can be not bothered by it, I can be unfazed by it, and therefore, based on my mental space at that time, I will be acting in a certain way because everything is connected to each other. The way we think could equal potentially the way we act. So if someone is trying to have an argument with me in the shop, I can choose not to react at all. And therefore, for example, I do not have to take any responsibility for this, because really and truly, this does not freaking matter at the end of the day. When you put your energy into something, then you are attaching that meaning to it. Therefore, this matters to you. But I do ultimately have a choice not to pay attention and choose not to basically care, I would say, as well, and not to give any meaning to it. If I see something dirty or dirt, again, I do have a choice how to react, how to navigate through that situation. But again, this doesn't really matter. And if I do have a perception like this, then my action will be attached to that mental space. or my mentality at that time. There are people in this world that are adopting this mindset, and they really don't care about many things, because at the end of the day, these things doesn't really matter. Why would we be concentrating on things like this, where we give attention, our energy, and ultimately these things could potentially consume us? Why? You see, everything comes from the way they trained us through school time. And I remember that in Poland, when I was studying, I really didn't understand many things. Why do I have to learn about certain things that will most probably never be useful in my life? And I was questioning that. Why at school they don't teach you about personal growth, self-reflection, trying to be the best version of yourself. Again, going back to the topic of me and my school time, I was never ever trying to fit in, and I couldn't understand why do I have to learn so much crap. I will never ever be able to use it. And really and truly, I'm not using majority of the things that I was learning about. And what really matters, what sort of skills and knowledge really matters, I am learning about them now, during my adult life. Finances, how to be open-minded, thinking logically, critical thinking, questioning things. At school, you cannot question things. So, but anyway, that is something on the side. Anyway, just to give you a backstory a bit. So yeah, at the end of the day, nothing really matters. And why are we over-consuming ourselves? Why are we consumed by it? Then we argue who is right, who knows this, who knows that, or it was like this, it was like that. Can you see what we are doing there? I want you to challenge yourself. If your mom is criticizing you, that's fine. Accept it. Do not attach a special meaning to it, because this doesn't really matter. And I absolutely am fully aware that this topic might not be everyone's cup of tea, because it's a bit controversial. How can I say that something doesn't matter when, I am emotionally connected to something? Yes, but you could ask yourself a question why you are emotionally attached to that. For example, if my mom is telling me off because I've done something or I haven't done something, I don't have to attach the negative meaning to it. I can just say, this doesn't matter. This does not truly matter if you think about it. You can do whatever she asked you to, fine, but just be aware that you don't have to attach a meaning, therefore you are not gonna be going into that negative state of mind. Free yourself. Free yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Free yourself. Allow yourself to feel the freedom, because it's there. It is there. Attaching that meaning to the situation is also connected to the stories that you tell yourself. Stories that we tell ourselves every single day. Because someone said this equals that. Because someone said that, this means that. Which might have absolutely nothing to do with reality. It's just the way you was trained from early childhood. free yourself. Free yourself from this negative attachments, stories that you tell yourself because you give meaning to things. This doesn't really matter. That is the message that I want to say to you. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You have a choice. You can choose. You can still keep giving meaning to something that really it doesn't really matter. You see where I'm going with this. But the challenge is real, because are there many people that will be thinking that way? That's the thing. But we can change that, reverse that. If more people will be thinking that way, then we can change that reality. We can change this reality. Your stories in your head are your stories, not mine. Your family members' stories in their head is their stories, not your story. You can separate yourself from it. Think about it. It's up to you. You can free yourself. Let me be vulnerable with you guys. Since I am on my journey of self-improvement, people started saying that I'm a bit selfish because I am thinking about many things in a different way. I try not to attach any meanings to someone else's stories, and I think people feel uncomfortable with that. But again, that is not my story. I'm not gonna take responsibilities for that. I can listen, fine. I can understand, fine. But I can also explain or give a reason behind my way of thinking. There is no right or wrong in many stories. It's just the ego that does not want to accept certain things. If you attach a meaning to situations, this creates that heaviness on you, negativity. The energy is coming back to you, but it's very heavy and negative. These negative emotions that are results of giving meaning to things that doesn't really matter, you feel heavy, and then you do things sometimes that are out of your control. You lose control. You lose control. Crazy. Challenge yourself to see through the invisible that exists, but it's not easily visible, but exists. It does. Not giving meaning to things that don't matter will allow you to have a better control over your life and have better decisions, and this will allow you to decide about yourself freely without anyone's influence. The choice is yours. Yes, I know it's not easy, because for many, many years we were trained to think in a specific way. But now it's up to us to unlearn these things and to start over, or at least alter that way of thinking. Or we can just carry on. We can carry on and go with the flow. Do we want to go with the flow? I would highly assume, deeply assume that no. We do not want to go with the flow. We do not have time to go with the flow. And see what happens. We do not have time. If I am not attaching meaning to something, then I have better control over that situation, and I am not judging. I am not judging. I will repeat. I am not judging. I am giving myself a time to process it from a different perspective and then make some sort of decision about it. Because I'm not attaching meaning to that, because it doesn't matter. It does not matter. See, ultimately it's about the energy that we're sending, vibration that we're sending, verbal, non-verbal things. And if we are not going to allow for the process to happen naturally, giving a time to process it from a different perspective, then we're just feeding the bowl of energy more and more and more. Let more people attach the same to that, and then more and more and more and bigger, and this will grow and grow and grow. Because why? Because everyone is interconnected to each other, and they trained us to think in a specific way to control us. To control us, because it's easier to control us that way. Then we don't question anything, we just go with the flow, and we will see what's gonna happen. Again, we do not have time for this. This is not the mentality that you want to have when you want to live your life the way you want to live your life, without anyone telling you how you should or you shouldn't live your life. I hope that my message is clear. I really do.